Good morning, everybody. Time for a little common sense here from Speaker's Corner. My name is Tino Strookman. My studies are in military history, military, and human behavior and psychology. That makes me slightly more crazy than everybody else, I suppose. I'm a hoot at parties, I'm telling you. I could tell you what Napoleon had for lunch. Anyway, let me just come right out and say it to you. AI is not your friend. I'm not saying AI doesn't have its valuable applications, but the way it has been rolled out. Now, I am from a generation that remembers life without cell phones, without home computers even. Initially, in service, I had a pager, and I would love to go back to that again. I don't need a cell phone. My sound hasn't been on my phone for the past 5 years, I believe. But anyway, I remember seeing an evolution of human behavior, an evolution that has taken place so exponentially fast. 25 years. Those of you who are 25 years today, you don't know a life without a cell phone or a home computer or social or unsocial networks. If you're a teenager today, chances are you have a whole lot of things that trouble you that you wouldn't have had if you'd been born 50 years ago and didn't have had the internet or have to try to compare with fake profiles on Instagram. Life is not as bad or as complicated as it seems. Problem is, now we have AI to contend with as well. Now, I'm a creator. I create a lot of documentaries and movies. I've done lots of TV. I look at the AI and some of the tools. I look at it as a tool. It's a tool that I can use to create images of things that no longer exist. It's a tool where I can tweak background music for documentaries. Things that are still creative and productive without I'm letting it take over. On the other side of the spectrum, there are people who have married their AI girlfriend. AI is their best friend. ChatGPT, they can't cook or exist or do grocery shopping without it. These people have completely lost their plot of the interaction between human beings. Mankind is supposed to interact with other human to human. That is what builds us up socially. It's what builds us up internally. We define ourselves by our interaction with others. And if we have no others, by eliminating them, looking at just AI, then we really have problems, or we're certainly laying the foundation for problems. And I am terrified what's going to happen to the next generation unless they figure that out. Now, the AI you all know, and you all see ChatGPT, you talk to Grok, you talk to Gemini, they're language learning models. They don't know anything. They are not your friend. They are not going to give you advice based on their vast knowledge. They have no knowledge. They have the information that they have been fed or they can scour online. And as we all know, information online is not exactly always correct. ChatGPT is wrong half of the time. Even if it's small things that's wrong with. Have you ever had an argument with an internet, with an AI, with a ChatGPT, say, Gemini? I'm a historian. I will ask a historic question or look for an image instead of, because Google searches are now so terrible, you can hardly ever find what you're looking for. The search engines have now skewed to the point where, well, you'll find what they want you to find, but you'll never find what you're looking for. The internet of 20 years ago is over, and they have completely ruined it. And I believe AI will be the destruction of a free and honest and open internet that we can find information. Because again, AI will only let you find what they have been programmed to let you find or where they've been programmed to search. And if they find information on things that are wrong, websites that are wrong, quotation sites that are wrong, that they pull out from their bag and say, oh, this is a fact. If you don't fact check everything, you're going to get it wrong, very wrong. You can't even pull up a recipe without having to double check it because it might be wrong. And to mention, lots of studies have been made of people who are using AI for their studies, writing reports, research. And I will be honest, I think we were in the seventh grade, eighth grade maybe, before we were given a calculator that we could sometimes use. To the point where in school you are allowed, high schools, colleges, to use AI to write your report or for your research, to me is complete insanity. And it is a clear example as to how our school system have completely derailed from actually teaching people what they need to read. This is insane. Number one, if studies have showed this, that if you use an AI engine to find your research and you just regurgitate it, it doesn't last in your memory bank because you didn't work to find it, to develop it, to research it. You just wrote the question and you got some sort of information, and then you copy pasted that, maybe tweaked it a little bit for language. That knowledge will not stay with you because you didn't actually research it. Like I said, I spent a lot of time on TV shows and movies and stuff. And to learn lines, if I have to, I will actually write the entire script, all my lines, I will write by hand myself. Instead of just reading what I'm seeing on the script, I will write them. Because by writing these, they attach themselves to me. Now they become personal. Now I remember them because I have written them. I've seen them in my own handwriting. Instead of noise neighbors, I'm sorry. Instead of just regurgitating information you found, you are becoming dumber by using an AI engine for your thinking. You cannot let a machine, which does not think for you. The machine is not going to be your friend. It is not your friend, and it will not ever be your friend. It is only giving you information that it can find, and much of that is wrong. And you really, really need to remember this. You may feel less lonely because you think you can have a conversation with a computer, with an AI. It'll ask you back. It'll ask how your day is, because such is its programming. But what you never ever get, because that is also part of the programming, you never get the "I don't know" answer. Instead, you'll just get, well, maybe you'll have a hallucination, or you'll get an answer that is extremely wrong because the AIs are not programmed, or they are programmed to specifically not come up with the "I don't know, I can't find this information." At least some of them will give you, well, I can't. I have a few times as well, I can't find this information. This is where you should look, but this is what I think, and what it thinks is usually wrong. And it gets worse than that. It gets actually very, very scary, because some of the problems that you're now seeing in AI and its use is the way people are using it is they are believing this to be correct, the information they find, which means you now have, for instance, AI software in school cameras connected to computers that will AI identify weapons. So now you have people being arrested, police sent on people because the AI detected that the way they were carrying their hand probably was a gun. So now people are getting chased down by the police, potentially with a misunderstanding or potentially with creating a dangerous situation because AI determined that you look like you're carrying a gun, calling the police. That is extremely dangerous, and this is extremely wrong because the programming is not there yet, but we will become AI monitored. You have a surveillance society that is emerging where everything will be monitored. Interestingly enough, in a town like London that is one of the most surveilled in the entire Western world, you still have acid attacks, stabbings, murders, rapes, violence happening all the time, and they hardly ever find out who did it. So apparently it doesn't really help identify criminals, but it'll take pictures of the crime, which is even more terrifying. A lawyer friend of mine recently confessed to me that she just lost a case because the judges and law clerks had looked up on AI, but I think it was ChatGPT, the information on previous cases, and therefore she was ruled against. The problem is what AI had cited was wrong. So if judges, people judging other people, are now using an AI to assist in their judgment instead of their own judgment, which is why they have this job. Although Lord knows the judges in the West, half of them should probably be retired immediately because they no longer seem to judge based on what is just the law or human common sense. Yes, if somebody have committed crimes 40 times, violent crimes, you let them out again, they're probably going to do it again. But now you have politics interacting in the judge is a different story. But you cannot have judges using an AI for that. You have lawyers going stripping up to court, citing law cases in their arguments. And the law case never happened. They never existed because they looked them up on AI. Remember, 50% of all AI is wrong. Just like AI relationships are extremely wrong, but that I don't have to explain that to you. You're a smart person. You're sitting here listening to me. And if you're still with me, you are a smart person because you kind of want to know where I'm going with this. AI can dehumanize. It can dematch you from all other humans by thinking, well, all I have someone to communicate with, to talk with. My need for social interaction is being covered by a machine. I don't need people. You do need people. You need the physical touch. You need the eye-to-eye engagement. You need to bridge the gap with other humans. That's how you define yourself. And if AI and machinery is going to take away all the jobs, then people have no work. And people without work have no purpose. And people without purpose, they cease to exist because they have no reason to get up in the morning. How many people do you know who has retired only to be dead 6 months later because no more reason? The kids are probably out of the house. Maybe they're divorced. Maybe they're single. But if you're single and you don't have a job, you better come up with a business model so you have a reason to get up in the morning, if not only to go to the gym and take care of you. We define ourselves by interacting with other people, and we define ourselves by what we do and who we are. Who we are many times is defined by what we do. So we need something to do. And I think it is far more important that people have jobs instead of mechanizing everything. Amazon wants to mechanize 100%. Millions of people worldwide will lose their jobs. And that will take away their reason for being. I'm not sure I want to do business with them when it comes to that. I don't want to talk to a computer if I have a customer service question. And I am detaching myself from companies that only give me that option. If I can't put on a phone, call a human being, or go to a store, talk to a human being, I don't want to do business with them. And you really need to think about that. We need to bring the humanity back to this planet. We need to put humans in the forefront, not just profit of giant corporations or their dominance over our governments. We have the dumbest governments in the West we have ever had. They're not getting any smarter by the mere fact that they are now using AI to advise them. So we have the dumbest people in charge of the Western countries that we've ever had using a software that is 50% flawed to guide them. This is not going to be good unless we really start turning around and thinking about our community, our friends, and our learning. This is where the historian in me say you need to look at history. You need to look at what came before. There's been pitfalls before. This is a bad one that's coming up. Let's look at entertainment. Entertainment is not really real anymore. It's written partially by AI now, much of it created wrong. Much of what you see is no longer physically there. It's all fake. And you may look at entertainment. You look at Transformers. You know Transformers is not real. I'm sorry to shock you, but there really aren't Transformers out there. You know what you're seeing is fake. But now you're seeing romantic comedies where everything, the backdrop is wrong. You see office scenes where everything behind is all done on green screen. Everything is fake. Now you see people being recreated. Now the people are fake. You see the texture is wrong. Even if you can't see it, as a human instinct, you still know that there's something wrong with what you're seeing. Unless you just glance on your phone and you don't think much about it. But it's something you really need to think about. And it's something you need to start demanding. You need to demand that you're shopping with human people, that your entertainment you're seeing is made by real people, with real people, and real things. Teaching with AI, surgery with AI. Do you want ChatGPT to give you open heart surgery? I really don't. I just hope that there'll be an old school doctor to take care of me back at some point when I need it, or an old school pilot to fly my plane when I get in one. You need to start using your instincts to bring the humanity back. That's one of the real worries. Language models is never going to be the general AI. It's not going to fix your problems, it's not going to be your friends. It's only going to give you information, and sometimes half-assed information at best. So you need to double check. But if you have questions on the recipe, call your grandmother. Go ask your little old lady who lives down the hall, how do I cook this or how do I do that? Learn from other people. Don't watch AI videos, don't watch AI entertainment, don't talk to AI customer service. Move to platforms or services where you have real people. Force their hand to hire people, because a world without people with real jobs is going to be a nightmare. You know how people get when they're bored and left unattended for a while. If you don't, do you have any Marine friends? You know what I'm saying. Simplify. And all right, you know what I mean. Anyway, you got to be careful with what's happening, because more and more of the internet is becoming fake. More and more of the videos you see are created with AI, ripping off my content from this and other channel. And all my friend creators, they have stuff ripped off by AI who just siphon it, repurpose it. Sometimes you will see, I saw a Victor David Hansen video where he was talking about something a couple of days ago, and I clicked on it, and it's just playing on my phone in the background, him talking. I'm starting to realize this is not Victor's voice. There's something wrong with this voice. And I started realizing this wasn't him. This was an AI video of him. And then I looked up other name historians, politicians, exactly the same topic, exactly the same speech, exactly the same spiel. So now they create videos that imitate real people and play it off as if they are. And if you don't pay attention, you may be fooled. So now you really have to check the information you get. And it's bad enough for the fake news that we keep getting, because the world media is so coerced. You cannot trust them for your information. What you have to get is research and books and research. So good luck with that. But deal with people, not machines. Good luck with that. And I will see you next week.